Welcome back to my channel. This is a reading for Libra, and this will be for the next couple of weeks, just doing an off the cuff sort of read. Generally, that's just how I do it. I don't have a lot of time, guys, so hopefully this is something that resonates for you. How I operate is usually I'll do like main cards or clarifiers to the oracle cards or tarot sort of separate. But anyway, in this particular read, I will be doing oracle cards. Some will be clarified with the tarot cards, and then others will just be the certain decks, oracle decks. So hopefully, again, this is something that you can relate to. So we'll just sort of dive right in. Okay, so what I'm starting with is the card of the Royal You. So I should mention, this is actually a beautiful spread, I should mention, for the next couple of weeks anyway overall, and it does have sort of a turning point energy for you. So there is something here that will weave it all together at the end with a bit of a summary as well. So what the Royal You stands for is really a card about owning who you are. So without, having to prove yourself, without having to persuade others, you're not negotiating anything here. Like, this is really about being straightforward in who you are. This is how you're presenting yourself. So I feel like this late January period has more to do with something that you're choosing. You're choosing yourself over, any over accommodation. So again, this is also internal, external kind of recognition. It's like you've outgrown certain dynamics with others, or just in your life in general. You're making some clear decisions about returning some dignity to yourself. So you feel like you're not diminished and you're not overlooked or tested. So I feel like this is you kind of putting down some I don't want to say, well, boundaries, not blockages, but boundaries, just to help balance things out. And again, this is about balance versus self-fail. So you don't need anyone's permission anymore. This is really you standing back, seeing everything for what it is, less explaining, stronger boundaries. And it's also a quiet confidence that replaces all of that people pleasing. So the fact that we are looking at the card number 16 does indicate that this is a 7. So this is cards of spiritual truth, inner authority, and it's an awakening of sorts. So again, it's a realization that changes how you see yourself, and it's a moment where you just sort of stop and things click, and something is finally making sense to you, and you're stepping into a wiser mind in the next couple of weeks, I did pull some other cards, so it will carry on further out. Because I did about February to some extent, so it is leaning into that as well. But you're basically stepping into wisdom that's been earned through experience. So it's not something that you've come to rightly. So the theme I would say here, because following up is the Endless Possibilities card. Now, this one is all about expansion. It's like a new timeline. It's a number 38, which we'll break down that as well. But it is a card of freedom from being limited. Sorry, guys, my throat sometimes acts up here. But overall, I feel like it doesn't mean everything at once is coming in. It means that the walls are starting to fall now. Like, the walls are starting to come down so that you actually have more access to the things that you want in your life. So this late January period, and again, part of it is trailing into February, will be new options, things that didn't exist before for you. And it's more of a mental or emotions from, that's just how it is, to something a lot more ending. So that would be, new ideas coming in, new people, new opportunities, just things that feel more alive and lighter. So in the next 2 weeks, I feel you've got this fresh way to earn or create or progress and express yourself. So there's a shift taking place in you that has more belief around what's actually, possible for you. So again, I feel like you're letting go of your previous narrative, and it's also letting go of a narrow plan, and you're allowing something more to emerge. So again, breaking that down, it is a master number. 3 and 8 is 11. So that is all about alignment. It's also about inspired vision and into that higher timeline. So it does say that you're not choosing options. You're choosing alignment over fear. So you're stepping through something that you previously thought as difficult or to challenge, and you're actually moving into a space where you don't care now, because you care, but I mean, you don't have that same immobility or over rationalizing or justification about why you're not doing something. You're actually choosing to step forward because you're feeling wiser. Now, there's also here of abundance. This is a card of two, which is again balance, but it's stability, it's long-term prosperity. So something, it's more nourishing. So there's something here that grounds the whole, and this is that card. So what begins or solidifies now will last. Whatever you're starting in this next 2-week period is going to be something that lasts. It's abundance that comes from consistency. It's not forcing it. You're planting something that grows quietly but powerfully. Again, it's not really something that's really flashy in terms of money, but it is secure, it is sustainable, and it does have a nourishing energy, and it's going to touch your spirit and your overall, health. Your finances are going to improve. It's just a better rhythm all around, and it is more of a stabilizing energy. So you're making wiser choices, and I feel like that emotional safety is starting to return through you starting to trust yourself now. And again, because it's a two, it is all about balance. Be involved with a partnership here as well with, somebody else. But either way, there's more receptivity, and it definitely speaks to a supportive energy. So it restores inner equilibrium. And again, this could have been after a time of upheaval because of what I see here next is the uncharted sea. So this is a 4 and a 6, which is a 10. So again, it's the end card of something that was, I feel, undercurrent. This is really what's driving everything, because this is the undercurrent. It's having trust. It's having the courage, stepping into the unknown. And I just feel like something new is starting here for you in the next 2 weeks. And again, a little bit further into February, because I did ask just to include a little bit of the February energy, the big energies out here. And this card indicates you're safe, even though there's no real map. And again, you're moving into new territory. It does indicate that the past doesn't define you anymore. It's not guiding you, because faith is replacing certainty. So it's more that even though you don't know how things will unfold yet, there is that energy, is a soul level shift that's happening. So you're leaving behind an identity or a role. And this next chapter requires trust in yourself. And again, because it's a 10, it's a completion cycle. So it does tell me there's a new beginning. Now, then we've got abundance here. Like there's a lot of really positive cards coming in. So you have a closure and you have a restart of some sort. So whatever the old way was that was, pervasive in the way that it influenced your life, I feel like that is changing. So you can look forward to more return to self-authority, like you are taking charge of your life. You are widening your possibilities. You see more about what's possible in this next 2 weeks. Again, there's a planting of stability and more of a long-term abundance. And again, it was followed up by abundance with whatever this new direction is. There is a brave step into, again, that unfamiliar territory, but there's something here also indicates that you need to stand in who you are and let life meet there. So you're not pushing ahead, you're not being asked to rush, you're being asked to just sort of, meet the markers as they come up. So you're finally living from the inside out, is what I would say there. It's quieter than drama, but it's much more powerful. Because to break it down even more specifically for money, and looking at relationships as well, I would say that, how it connects to the 2026 theme of things is that you really are looking at things in more of a clear, although layered, but reassuring way. So what I mean by that is, the cards kind of speak to each other. So abundance is going to be within the next few months. There is something here again of a message of grounding. The core message is that abundance is coming for sure, but it requires perfect timing, assertive action, and even at the very bottom of the deck, even though I didn't really pull this forward, but we also had the card of sorry, I'm pulling too many, take charge and action. And that was also a card that was from the Angel Guide by Kyle Gray. So I am also reading from the Angel Answers, and this one is Radley Valentine. But as I said, a lot of these cards are quite amazing. So I feel like they're going to trail out over the next few months, especially given this card here. But abundance is literally energetic financial improvement. So there's emotional, there's energetic overflow, there's support showing up for you here, where there was previously lack. And this card says you're not blocked. Things are already in motion. So in the next few months, I would say, you know, that's more the real time. It's not vague. It's more of a near future event that's building. So whatever you're doing, it's not occurring overnight. It is more of a steady opening to things. So not an instant miracle, but you are working towards something significant. I would say that because the card of perfect timing is showing up here, this is indicating that the delays were protective. So there was a reason that things had to be slowed down because something had to line up internally, externally, whatever that is here. But acting too fast would have led to a lesser outcome. So this card shows up when impatience, you know, is understandable, but unnecessary. You have to let go of what your timeline is because that's an outdated expectation. You're being asked to release that. There's a specific outcome here that you were attached to or a version of yourself that you were waiting for instead of choosing. And now this is letting you know it's not a loss. The doorway is clearing. Things are starting to open up here. And that's why you have yes. You're on path. Your intuition is correct. The direction is supported. And again, this is after you let go of something. So after you let go of all these preconceived ideas of how things have to show up, how they, you know, don't push things. The next card shows up here, no need to worry. I mean, all of that is an indicator that everything is lining up. And of course, be assertive. This is really speak clearly, ask directly, set the boundaries without guilt, choose without over explaining things. So again, it's stop hoping, you know, that someone else is understanding you or, you know, or is trying, you know, you want them to read your heart or have, you know, but lead with what you want to say. So because there is some that are here for you. And of course, that does explain that there has been a past disappointment here. There is something here about a stepping stone because there's improving health. It's not the final version of something. That's why there's something better. It's a stepping stone. It's not the final version. You know, something would have capped your growth. So again, you're being led. But this card also means there's an upgrade. So it's not, you're not taking elation prize. There's an upgrade coming. The improving health, I feel, is more along the lines of physical energy. So there's emotional resilience. There's more of a nervous system resetting. So if you're really anxious, it's like hope is returning and things are starting to balance. And there's more trust here. And of course, trusting with the timing, and trust is, of course, showing up. So your decisions, there's the unseen sort of inner work from or outer work from spirit and all of that just intervening. But again, I want you to remember reconsider shows up here. So that means it doesn't mean you're wrong. What it does mean is adjust how you're approaching it. So change how you ask, not what you want, excuse me, but reframe the situation from self-respect. So instead of enduring something, be assertive. And it is going to lead to big, happy changes. Like these cards are very good for this next, and again, a little further into February. Because this is the card of relief, joy, lightness, feeling unstuck again. There's like a real shift taking place in the next 2 weeks. It's not wishful thinking. It's not fantasy. It's here. You're in that energy. And it's followed up by yes. So, you know, the angels are basically telling you the way that you originally imagined something is not how it's coming through. But it is saying that yes, here, but you have to step into your power to kind of maintain it or add to it. So the final summary of everything, again, abundance is arriving. There's money, there's happiness, there's joy, there's lightness in this next 2-week period. The timing is aligning behind the scenes. You have to let go of the old attachments and the way that you expected things to work. And again, this is trust the process. Your health is improving. There's going to be more energy as you improve. And for sure, what's coming in is better than what you asked for. So big, happy changes, like I said, real, you're supported. It's not a wait and see message. It's a stand up, choose, and allow your life to meet you there. So again, clarify what it is you want, you know, so that you can be clear when you speak to people. And listen, no need to worry. Everything's falling into place. Now, the next set of cards, this is the last set. This is where I'm doing the oracle cards with the tarot. I'm just going to pull these forward. Okay, so these are, sorry about that, guys. So again, this is raise your vibration. So again, this is in the next couple of weeks where things are headed. So there is a sense that you need to raise your vibration, and the cards that follow that are the Three of Cups and the Cups. So this could be around a family dynamic, certainly a group setting, but there's a lot of happiness here. So I feel like there in the next 2 weeks, you're going to find that there's a laughter, there's a lot more relief, there's a lot more emotional warmth that's returning. I feel like you're reconnecting with joy. You're not escaping, but there's a sense of belonging in some way. Like it's a reminder that happiness is allowed now, not later. So move forward on that. Again, there could also be some kind of a social reconnection, family or emotional healing moment. And again, it's just simply remembering all the things that naturally nourish you, the things that are good in life, because this is not thinking positive. It feels like you're very supported, and that's why your vibration is raising in the next couple of weeks. So, and again, further out. The angelic protection, this is something here again that is clarified by the King of Swords. And also, so it could be dealing with Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, the Queen of Wands, Sagittarius comes in for me on this one. And then there's Justice, and then we all have the Eight of Swords. So, oh, sorry, followed up by Temperance. So again, there's the protection card there as well. So, sorry, I'm just reading, give me 1 second here, reading a comment. Something about Christmas. Okay, I saw the Christmas sort of comment there. But anyway, just going back into it. Sorry, guys, just had myself sort of distracted for a minute. Okay, so again, angelic protection. So this one basically is, it's a powerful card. You're stepping into truth, and that is why the big sword here, as well as King of Swords. So you're stepping into truth. You're reclaiming your confidence. There is instance of the Queen of Wands, which is also, correcting an imbalance or an injustice. And it also feels like seeing things for what it is. But the Justice card tells you, that something is being corrected. And again, it is followed by the Eight of Swords. So it feels like you thought you were trapped, but you're not. The restriction mental, it's not energetic. And there is a sense of, again, divine protection in many ways here, angelic protection, your guides, temperance, and then, of course, that initial card out. So this really does tell me that there is something in the next 2 weeks that could have gone sideways, but it doesn't. So I feel like, overall, there's just really good energy here of things balancing out and stabilizing and being more moderate. There's protection and it's not force. So there's also something here with a learning experience. So I feel like because that's clarified by the Strength card, the gentle sort of energy, strength through gentleness, there is a sense of emotional maturity. Could be dealing with a water sign here too with the King of Cups. And it's like you turn conflict into an opportunity because the Ace of Pentacles is here and the Five of Wands. So the conflict becomes an opportunity. And again, there's something here where there may be a disagreement about something or there's a competing energy. But whatever this internal tension is, it creates something of a way for a new beginning. So it's like you're learning how to hold your ground without hardening. And so then we're followed up by intuition and downloads. And hello, sorry, I can't really read the comments there, just the way my camera is angled. Sorry, guys. Okay, so anyway, intuition and downloads, but thanks for joining either way. But intuition and downloads is really about, because it's clarified by the Ten of Swords, and this is a 10, so it's an ending to a situation that was quite sense of betrayal, old narrative dies here. This is very negative kind of endings. It's a heavier energy, and it is followed up by the Queen of Swords, so truths come out. It could be around Gemini, Aquarius, Libra energy, but either way, or a romantic connection for some, I do feel like it was a conscious choice where they're, value based and it's not fear based. So whatever decisions you're making here, you're doing it from truth without cruelty. And it's really just, again, the old narrative dies. The Seven of Wands, you've made it through, you defended your, and it's not aggressive, it's just confident in the way that you've dealt with the situation. Again, it comes from a mature place. So you can expect a sudden realization that kind of ends an internal loop that goes round and round. This is where that stops. And especially when it gets to cut the cords, That is also followed up by the Chariot. And then it's also followed up by, sorry guys, just because I'm en route here. One more second, we'll turn that light back on. So it is followed up by the Three of Wands. And then it's also followed up by the Seven of Swords. So I feel like deception, yours or others, or someone else, you know, it's like you're taking your energy back here, especially with the Knight of Pentacles. It's, you know, whatever the slow drains were on your energy, you know, because it feels like that energy of the Three of Wands that was out kind of speaks to, you know, like an old timeline that stalled, something that didn't happen. And this is whatever, something was slowly draining your energy, you know, and of course it does indicate that there is some sense of momentum now because, I mean, the Chariot was there. So the Chariot indicates with the Seven of Pentacles, sorry, one sec here. I was just trying to pull it forward. Sorry, the Chariot and the Knight of Pentacles, it just feels like, you know, you're kind of reassessing things now. Oh, there it was. It was composure, and then following that was the Seven of Pentacles. I knew I saw that out there because I pre-pulled just because of the time frame, so it doesn't go on too long. Just about done here, guys. But either way, you know, the card clarified composure with the Seven of Pentacles, the Hierophant. There's a strong commitment energy. There's a strong, you know, sort of energy of your own intuition being involved here, and a lot of healing that's taking place, especially with the Page of Swords. That healing is active, it's not passive. So, you know, your curiosity is replacing the anxiety. And I feel like there's a lot more. Don't rush the process because there's a lot that you're undergoing. It's like a quiet confidence that's building. This card out is do the work. And this is really about, it is clarified with the Ace of Cups. So it's like a new beginning here, again, with the Knight of Cups. A lot of emotional water energy here, and then the World. So it's an emotional renewal of some sort. And it's an aligned movement, you know, with the Knight of Cups. And this is the cycle fully closing. So it's like you're emotionally aligning and things are starting to pay off externally, internally, and you complete something emotionally significant to you. I would say you don't carry the lesson forward. It's now integrated. And that's really what the World card is. It's a card of integration. So opportunity and change, again, is something that's coming up for you as a significant, you know, major energy in the next few weeks. But the Seven of Cups tells me that this is, and especially when it's followed up of Swords, like you're going away from a lot of heavy negative energy, especially when that's the Nine of Swords, because after the Nine of Swords is the Death card. That was the bottom of the deck. So that means huge, big change that you're undergoing. You are almost through all of the energy. So it's like the anxiety fades after you make this decision, not, you know, and not before. So the anxiety may be present right up until the time that you make this decision, you know, that this is a real ending. So it's not symbolic, it's not fluff. This is something that is done, and once it's done, it cannot be undone. So the change comes when you choose clarity over comfort. You know, you might have been putting up with something that was more of a comfort situation, but in actual fact, you're in a space where you want to be emotionally uplifted and reconnect with that feeling, because there's a lot of cards of cups and emotion here. So I feel like that's pretty powerful in the next 2 weeks. So again, a lesson is strengthened around your emotionality. So the cord cutting restores that momentum. And there is a powerful intuitive realization that comes through in this next 2 weeks. And again, maybe a little further into February. But it's more of a calm, reassessing energy. And there's a healing. And again, it's the completion of an emotional cycle. We already had the World card come out, even it is just the clarifier. We have the Death card. Like there's a lot of cards that are 9 and 10. So that tells me this is going to be a genuine opportunity that requires you to let something. It's not chaos. This is really aligning with something through courage. You're not being asked to do everything right, just the right thing. So what that means really is pinpointing what is ending and how you can emotionally, you know, regain your sense of realignment. Now, again, just to sort of summarize that, because the core message when you look at both all of the, the both sets of cards is really that you need to align before you take action. You're letting go of something before you're receiving it. There's assertiveness without aggression, and you are protected during this transition. So there is something better that's replacing something familiar. So nothing here says collapse or loss. It's a course correction, it's quiet, and it's an upgrade. So I feel like the best advice is being able to raise your vibration, which again was one of the cards that came out here, is you're doing it through connection. So you're raising your vibration through your connections. So someone to be around here that's assisting you. It's not through effort. It's almost like don't isolate, don't overthink. There's joy, there's light in this reading, there's a lot of honest conversations, and that's the medicine that I see here for you right now. And so if it drains you, pause. If it doesn't nourish you, lean in, try to figure out what it is that, is not nourishing and how do you course correct. Be assertive, but be composed. Calm authority, not confrontation. Say what you mean. Don't over explain. Don't wait to be chosen. Choose what you need, what you want. Say it clearly. And also, what's coming is better, and it requires releasing control of old timelines, old narratives, all of the things that are emotional cords, everything that's quietly siphoning your energy. And again, there's a lot of cards here about just trust the timing and do the work, because you're in alignment. So again, the work is the emotional honesty, consistent small steps, follow your intuition, even when it's inconvenient. And again, in terms of relationships, follow your intuition. There's healing, there's clarity, there's boundaries here as well. And sorry, I'll say, is it Marita? I can't really read it yet. Um, and Stephen Squires. Anyway, sorry if I can't quite see it there, guys, but just because it's really small print down there. But either way, I just feel like the conversations are going to bring, and the connections that you're dealing with in this next 2 to 3 week period is going to be conversations that bring relief and closure and happiness. And again, there's emotional honesty, and that increases. So there's one dynamic that improves because you change how you show up. So another one's going to fade and shift because of that cord cutting energy. But I feel like less people pleasing, more self-respect, better emotional balance. Your relationships feel lighter, even if they're fewer. And in terms of career, the overall tone is that things are stabilizing and something is opening up here and forming for you. Again, there's some kind of a decision that you're making. This could be a new project or something that you're taking on. But either way, it's a realization that changes how you approach work. Again, it's a new option, an idea, an opportunity, but it requires you to not forcing something that wasn't flowing. And again, it's not an instant payoff energy, but it does set the stage for things to go forward. So you feel more clear-headed, you're raising your vibration, you are connected in some way, you have abundance. And again, these were all the cards there, no need to worry. You have all the cards of abundance, but say no to something that doesn't look that looks tempting but isn't aligned. Choose stability over quick fixes. Financially, you're getting your energy back here. Financial stress eases mentally before it resolves physically. But overall, your stress level's dropping. You're probably going to sleep better, mood improves, all of that. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I was just saying Maritz. I appreciate that. But yeah, like again, the healing is taking place through boundaries and trust and emotional expression. You're letting go of internal pressure. You feel more like yourself again. And I feel like you don't absorb other people's emotions as much. Some people respond positively. But either way, you're stepping back and less drama. And again, I just feel like I also step back with less drama. So it's like it's an energetic sorting of sorts. You're more grounded, less reactive, and there's just more trusting of yourself. Things are clearer. There's less looping around and doing the same things over and over. Yeah, overall, it just looks like you're supported, you're guided, things are calm, much calmer. It's not euphoric energy, but you are happier, you're more centered. And I feel like it's the end of a draining cycle, and especially over the next few months. Because of the abundance, this is a course correction window. And it's a quiet, but it's positive shifts that are taking place because your emotional boundaries are strengthening over this 2 to 3 week period. So, like I said, final takeaway is, trust the time, be calm, try to break free of the negative mindset and loops that we can tend to put ourselves into, and just narrow things down a little bit more because you're being guided back into balance. And this is your real superpower because balance is Libra. Anyway, you're looking forward to another more aligned chapter, and I would say February overall is also going to bring about this. So I would say overall, next 2.5 to 3 weeks are looking amazing. So keep moving forward, guys. Never give up. That's what I have for you, Libra. And I don't know if I have time to do another reading for another sign because my phone dies pretty quick here. But either way, thanks for showing up. And the next read.